Is that a man's voice? Is that a man's voice? Is that a man? Is there a man in your house?
Yeah, there's a man in my house.
I heard a baritone or some such voice that wasn't one of female persuasion or identification.
Oh God, it's me. Don't you recognize me?
Yeah, he does voices.
Oh God.
All right.
Welcome to Tangentially Speaking, the podcast where we have in-depth and entertaining conversations with some, well, a lot of tangents that always, eventually connect two seemingly unrelated topics.
I am Nikki.
I'm Nita Charisse.
Today, we connect reparations to Shari's berries.
Have you heard about this girl who pretended to be a Trump supporter? And she started a GoFundMe account because she goes, I will not hide any longer. The left has made us feel as if Black Republicans should hide, but not anymore. Blacks for Trump. Walk away. Okay, I should just send this to you. But
Yeah.
Thank you. She said, thank you all so much for your overwhelming support. After seeing this tweet, my parents cut me off and refused to pay my university tuition. So if you can find it in your heart to help this young Black Republican pay for school, it would be appreciated. So she raised a lot of money, right? And then,
oh my God.
So she ended up on Days, and I didn't even look at the article, but man, I should text you the picture of her because it was a scam. She wasn't a Trump supporter. She was just making money. So I was just like, you know what? I am not mad. Just like those Jamaican braiders who were charging that man $5 a braid to get his hair.
Oh, I know. I support that.
Yeah,
the revolution will not be, I don't know, monetized. I know that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I support it. I support that.
I'm all for reparations in any which way, shape, or form, especially if it's not coming from the government. So I responded to it because there was all this hate about, oh, she should be charged for fraud and all this other shit. She's scamming. It's okay to scam Republicans. So I said,
yes.
well, once upon a time, it is likely that our ancestors were forced to work for free. It was called slavery. And this is reparations. So anyway, just responding, my Twitter has been blowing up all day. This is the most likes I've ever gotten on any tweet.
Oh, you about to be famous.
And see, this is what makes living in today's world so freaking ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. The dumbest shit is an avenue or pathway to fame and fortune.
Yeah, you just have to tickle somebody's fancy, and you in. Like for real.
I don't want to tickle anyone. Okay.
I like tickling.
Speaking of tickling, I was in this group. We're discussing, this group is called The Respectful Conversation. And that's part of the reason why I posted the video, I don't know if you saw it, about glizzies. You know what glizzies are?
No, but it sounds gross.
It is gross. I thought glizzies were just hot dogs. But they have expanded to include anything that resembles a penis that is edible.
Wait, I saw you post something about why is it a joke? Why is it a sexual joke about what men are eating? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, like what makes this funny? Because it's like he's eating food, So why are you automatically thinking about a dick when somebody's eating food? To me, it just signifies that whoever you are, there's a whole like TikTok videos. Like, I don't know if you've seen them. I'll have to send you one. But there's TikTok videos where they've taken Bill Withers' Lovely Day and changed it to that nigga's gay.
No, I love that song. That's my facilitation song. That's so stupid. I hate the internet. The other thing. So what?
Okay.
So what? Is that still a thing? Are people still like, so-and-so's gay? Is he here? I'm like, wait, really? They're
policing men's behavior, like at every level, to the point where now men feel self-conscious about eating certain foods in front of other men. So popsicles, bananas, hot dogs, totally out. Because
that's always been a thing, though. You know that, right? That's always been a thing. Like for years, like before TikTok, before maybe even the Vine, there were things like how men eat bananas in public, and it might be like the banana is cut up or something, or it's like or like surreptitiously, or that, like that's old. I remember before the internet, just being with friends and somebody saying like men don't eat such and such in public, or like I'm not gonna eat a lollipop in public as a man. Like that's seen as just like a feminine thing. It's like when we do it, it's like, so this how it would be if I was sucking your dick. Like we can't even eat nothing without them putting that on. Like, oh, all right, I see you enjoying this Charms blow pop. This has nothing to do with your dick. Nothing.
It's food.
LL said it best. Standing at the bus stop, sucking on a lollipop. That's what that nigga's talking about. Like, she was just getting her sugar for the day, but he like, I see you round the way, girl.
Enjoying a sugary snack in public in the summer heat, like while waiting for.
That is not. And one time I love candy years ago. I was eating a lollipop and driving, and Lance was either with me or I pulled up to where he was, and you know my husband, and he was like, "How long you been riding around like that?" Like because. But it turned out that he was right, because when I reviewed the last 15 minutes before getting to him, I was like, oh, I was getting a lot of attention. I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm just like, boom, 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 boom.
It's so ridiculous to me. Okay, I remember like years ago when I worked for a brokerage firm, we all went out for Mexican food, and one of the girls was sitting there. She was double fisting a burrito and eating it like that. And I'm just like, you could just go like this. Why are you eating it this way? And I made fun of her about that, but I didn't say, looks like you're sucking a dick. Like, I didn't say that. I'm just like, why are you double fisting it? But
that's kind of related, though.
It is related, but I'm a woman talking to another woman, and I was not trying to go out of my way to question her sexuality or make her feel ashamed for consuming food. I was just like, two hands? Like, but anyway.
I like how that's your point of contention. You need to figure out how to do that with one hand. But why though?
Anybody double fist a burrito? Like, really? Like, just cut it in half or something. Like you're really going to town on this mission.
Because she could have felt like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that, and then does this and like all the shit's falling out or something. Like maybe she's just like, I think this is how I do things.
Okay,
it's kind of the same thing. I think it's less. It's not as much from you, because you're not sitting there saying, when you're done with that burrito, I got next. Like that's what
come over here.
I got a burrito for like, because you're not doing that. But it's kind of like, it's kind of the same thing. Because let's say that she wasn't even thinking about that. Now, if she was a crazy person like me, it'd be like, that's how I do all things. But like a normal person would be like, oh, I never thought about, oh my God, is that what that looks like? And then you're self-conscious. Because I don't eat phallic food in public anymore.
See, now that's a damn shame. It's really a shame, because you're just consuming food. We all have to eat food to live. And I'm concerned about this as it relates to men, because I don't want either of my sons thinking, oh, they like popsicles. They're sort of eating hot dogs. They eat all kinds of stuff that are long, so like, I don't want them to feel like, oh, everybody's going to think I'm gay. And then so what? So I'm just like, what about this is funny? In the group where we were discussing this post, I was asking legitimately what makes it funny. So I went back and forth, like, it must have been like 20 different posts back and forth with this dude. It's like, it's funny because it's funny. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Why don't you can't explain why you think something is humorous? For instance, I thought the TikTok video was funny because it's ridiculous to me that this man had to hide in his hallway to eat a hot dog in order to avoid somebody coming out and playing that Bill Withers song, that nigga's gay. And then the nigga's gay, nigga's gay, nigga's gay, nigga.
Somebody took the time
Yes.
to ruin that damn song. That is blasphemy.
Yes. That's why I felt like somebody took the time to ruin the song because they are that serious about policing the way men eat food. And then this man is going through jumping through all these hoops just to eat food, without having his sexuality questioned. And I'm just like, we see how this, like, does anybody else see how this can be damaging? Like, how this is completely ridiculous and uncalled for?
It's funny.
Why is it funny? Like, that's why I was like, tell me why is it funny, and I'll laugh along with it. But I don't
people
see it
are still very homophobic. It is just like, okay, so now saying that something is gay is no longer widely accepted as a joke, but that doesn't mean that there aren't still people that still think that. It's just the average person kind of cares about holding up societal norms. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of people that off camera, off mic, off whatever, because like all of us included, are in some kind of way broadcasting something now. There are still a lot of people, they aren't progressive really at all. Or they feel safe doing certain things around people that know, that's not a bad person. Like that's a good guy. But they know that it is no longer acceptable to say and laugh at certain things in public, but it doesn't mean that it's gone away. That's just like, nobody really says retarded anymore. Or if they do, they expect to have somebody shame them for it. Same thing with like, that's so gay. That's not okay to say anymore. But all of those things people have been shamed enough to where nobody wants to be that person. But a lot of people still do it. And saying that something's gay still makes people laugh. It shouldn't. I think it's stupid. It's even still a story. Was it yesterday? Lance was reading a post to me or something. This is a whole news, and I say news because I think it was like an online thing, a whole article about how, and I hope I'm not misquoting, because I don't think I am, but Kevin Gates, like a local rapper, it's like, oh, he's gay, and like we have the evidence to prove it. It was just like, why is this? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Like there are enough, and I am not being obtuse to think that there aren't still people who think that, that don't associate that with a rapper. I know that is still a thing, but just how did this pass making a news story that represents an organization, big or small, that this is a story, that there's not something else attached? He's gay and is a known advocate against gayness. Like there's not like, wait, that's it? There's not like some kind of like, this isn't a plot twist. Are you kidding me? Like, I assume that, haven't we accepted now that most people aren't just any one thing? I think we're all kind of making choices. And even if you've never considered that, probably if you start thinking about it, you might be like, oh, well, maybe I am making a choice. Like, I know that everybody's not, completely whatever progressive, but I think even the average person at least knows to question what they think. And I have not come across too many people that are still hard line. No, this is this. People just kind of know like, no, there's wiggle room for everything. And whether I'm totally comfortable with that or not, I am not going to shame you. This was really a story. And that's all there was to it, that there may be evidence to once and for all, because he's never said anything. And I'm like, the nigga doesn't have to. He ain't got to say shit. It's none of your business.
And what impact does it have on anything? Like, I just think about so many people who are walking around and they're claiming to be one way, and then behind closed doors, they do whatever, and what we don't know is not hurting us at all because it's their business.
The only time that is a problem is if someone is being harmed or things are happening and someone did not consent. Yeah. Or like you have been the leader in making people feel like it is okay to harm one group, where behind closed doors, you're this way. Well, it would be your business to be gay, but if you've been coming out and leading the charge and doing things that are actively hurting people that you have something in common with, like that's when it's a problem. But just living your life, I don't care.
Like that fool in Florida, I'll never forget this. I can't remember his name, but the dude in Florida pushing for welfare recipients to be drug tested. Meanwhile, he's doing coke like it's going out of style. Or what was that politician who was talking about family values and the sanctity of marriage, anti-gay.
A long time ago.
Meanwhile, he's got a mistress in Brazil or wherever.
Oh, him, Scott something. That was South Carolina's governor. I thought you were talking about the guy who spoke out against gayness and like family values, and come to find out he was like fucking men at the Minnesota airport. I think he was like the representative. This is years ago. If I find his name, you would definitely remember. Like this was still when people really didn't realize that this was common. I'm talking like a long time ago. And he was a staunch, like, family value them, rah, and probably WAP power, because all that is just kind of like,
yeah, it's the same.
Connected to me. And then they found out that not only was this dude gay, but he was like hooking up with people in the bathroom stalls, specifically Minnesota airport. Because every time I have to go through there, I think about him. I'm just like, oh, he was right here.
He might have been right in this stall.
I'm walking in them same steps. They got a Panera.
Politicians just killed me because, like, I've heard so many horror stories about the kinds of things they do in private in Washington, D.C. Like I've met so many women. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to D.C. and make some money. How? Because, like, this one lady I knew, or I heard of, she was having this dude pay her to walk around naked in high heels and smash bugs. So he would get these bugs. He would specifically order these bugs. I know, it's so weird. And he would put them on the floor, and she'd take off her trench coat, have on these really expensive heels, and just run around naked, smashing the bugs. And he would pay her. And I'm like, where do I sign up to do
bugs like roaches or like other bugs?
I think there was a combination of roaches and then like some of those like weird looking, like larger bugs that you might see in like in a jungle. They really aren't harmful, but you know, they're just really ugly. And like, it's like you feel like you're killing another person when you kill them because they're so big.
Yeah,
so
no, that's how scared I am of roaches. I would be like, yeah, I'm just going to have to get my car repossessed. I just can't do this. Like, I just couldn't.
See, that's why New Orleans used to freak me out, because I remember my sister came down there. This is when I was living over there by the fairgrounds, by Jazz.
Oh, Lord.
And we had walked around the corner to where the Whole Foods used to be. Mm-hmm. And so we were walking, and Sharice is like, it's a bug, it's a roach. Like a huge palmetto bug. It was facing the Whole Foods. But when she said something, it turned towards us.
Yes. I tell Lance all the time, those things turn towards you and they play dead. He does not believe me. They pretend to be dead. And he's just like, lie down. Shh, shh. I'm just like, they're pretending.
Oh my God, I hate when guys say, like, I will kill you.
He goes, shh. I'm like, I can't stand you.
I will kill you in the head. Like, shh, like, no, I will break your neck off and stick it up your ass.
They play dead. Roaches in New Orleans are like voters. Like when there is like a public nuisance, like they come out like, I like to say something about the schools, and like, oh, that's Ralph right there. Like they're so big that they have a footprint. Yeah. They're not regular roaches. When I'm watching TV and somebody says, ooh, a roach, I'm like, that ain't a real roach. You know, our roaches have like a liver and a pancreas and like flesh. Like, yeah. They used to be people.
They have their own section and attractions at the Jazz Fest. That's probably why.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you coming on a roach county?
So I would not mind killing them in some very expensive shoes for money. Okay, I could do that, but I just need to know where to sign up for that. You know,
I don't know how you find out about that stuff. I don't know if like we've aged out of it or something, but even when we were that age, like I never heard about
this shit. Yes. Like, was there should I join a sorority in order to find out about this stuff? Was there a special website? Was there a club? Was I not socializing at the right time with the right people in order to get hip to these, like, you know,
I don't know what it is.
Just like with the whole rope tying thing. Like I told you when I went to that BDSM event, right? For Black people. I could have sworn
you said that like, I see like Walmart's having on sandals.
I told you about that.
You did not.
Okay. So I had went out on a date, right? Well, it was a date with a couple. So I went out on a date with a couple, and we were going to this. It was a BDSM social event for Black people, and it was just it's like a safe space for Black people who practice kink. So there was going to be art there was going to be demonstrations, there was going to be food and liquor. So I was just like, okay, this is a learning experience. It's a sexy date, right? And then afterwards, we'll go to Loca Luna. We'll tie on a couple of margaritas, maybe do some salsa dancing, have some...
I can't stand that shit.
Have some tapas. So I go in there. The theme was Eyes Wide Shut. So I actually got a mask. I think that I took a selfie with one of the masks on, but I was intoxicated before I got there. So I was just on like, it was weird. It was weird for me because I was just like, I should have been like, oh, I'm having fun and sexy. I was just like, let's treat this as like a sociology exercise, like in human behavior. Like, it's very academic. And I'm not sure why anyone would just get buzzed and be like, yes, let's delve deeper into academia. But that's what I do.
Because it's you. You're like, I always wanted to be the subject of my own research topic. Get started. I've got my handy dandy notebook. So I have a microscope for some reason.
I was like, wait a minute, let me pull out my notepad here and record this. Wait, let me reference some of my material.
I'm always in the field.
Yeah. So I go to a sexy party and I'm treated as an exercise in academia. Anyway, I get there. It was in an old school it was a school for acrobatics, and they taught aerial exercise.
Oh, yeah.
So not quite pole dancing, but like rope dancing, the shit that we saw at my graduation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we go in there, get our mask. I get my glass of champagne. I make my way over to the hors d'oeuvres, and there's a demonstration, a rope tying demonstration going on. And there was this very curvaceous, lovely woman. She's suspended from the ceiling, like she's literally hanging on a harness from the ceiling, and she's the sub or the submissive, because there's doms and there's
Every time somebody says that, I immediately think about, oh, she's taking over somebody's class. Every time I hear sub, I'm like, oh, like for a classroom? I'm always like, oh, okay, so.
Yeah, so she's the sub, and this other lady is tying her up in all of these very like ornate and complex ties and knots, right? Mm-hmm. And she's suspended from midair. And so I sit down and I watch this, and I'm eating my plate of hors d'oeuvres and sipping my champagne. And I turned to the lady next to me and I was like, was she in the Navy?
All because of the robes. I'm like, bitch, what are you here for? I would immediately be like, are you a cop?
She was just like, I'm like, so like the knots, they're very intricate. Like, my dad was in the Navy and he knows how to tie all kinds of.
Oh my God.
Did she learn this from the Navy? She's like, you can go up. The lady was very nice. She was just like, oh, I understand. Like, that makes sense. She's like, I honestly don't know, but you can go up and ask her. I was like, well, I don't want to interfere. This seems like a very intimate moment. She's like, oh no, it's a demonstration. So you can go and engage. I'm like, okay. So I go up to the
performing.
Yeah. Because it's I guess it's interactive. It was a demonstration. So, during a cooking demonstration, you would ask questions like, okay, what do you set the skillet to? Or how long do you leave that in the oven? I had
Were
questions.
you in the Navy?
Are you in the fucking Navy? So I made my way up to them. You know, I put down my plate and my champagne. And the lady was like, I'll watch your food. I was like, don't put anything in it. I'm already buzzed.
How did she know? I knew that bitch was a cop.
So I touched the lady that's doing the rope tying, and she was just like, oh, hey, like, as she's tying the ropes on this lady. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you're sweating. And she's like, this is a lot of work. And she's a big girl. And I'm like, well, I don't mean to interrupt. This is very fascinating.
She's a big girl.
This was
Like,
that girl was big, and she was manipulating her body parts because she was being totally submissive. Like she was not in control at all, and she's being suspended from the ceiling on a rope while she's being tied. It was different, okay? So, so I'm like, you know, she's just like, oh, this is a lot of hard work. This is a big girl. And I'm like, I see. Just had a quick question. The knots that you're tying, how do you know them? Were you in the Navy? And she's like, oh, no, I wasn't in the Navy. I go to a rope tying class. I'm like, there's a rope tying class? What?
oh my God.
So again, like there are all these like societies and groups and interests where they have like a whole little like universe of resources for each other. And then if you try to break like me coming in green, I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to ask, but I'm like, where do they offer them? And she was just like, oh, well, if you let me finish this, we can talk afterwards. I'm like, okay, cool. I did end
I
up
was like, just go to Activity Hero. I'm not clicking on the right link. These really cute cooking classes. Then if you click on the next one, it's the rope tying.
rope tying for people who practice BDSM. I interviewed 2 doms. So, okay. So the girl that was being tied, she's a sub. Then that's her dom. But her dom is a switch, which again, new lingo for me, meaning that sometimes she's a dom and sometimes she's a sub.
Oh, she's a switch hitter. Okay.
Yeah. So then I talked to her dom, which was this lovely older lady. She had to have been in her like early 60s. She looked good. You know,
all Black people.
These are all Black people. So it's a completely safe space. She's got on her little outfit, her little leather going on and whatnot. She looked really good. And so I was asking her, I was like, how did you get into this lifestyle? And so she was telling me all about it. And then she was telling me about her sub. She's just like, that's my sub over there. And I'm like, the dom is your sub? And she's like, yes. And I said, how did that happen? So she's telling me. I talked to the sub. Guess what she's majoring in college?
Elementary library science.
She's majoring in corporate leadership. Corporate.
The sub or the
sub was majoring in corporate leadership or something. She wanted to run corporations. That's what she's studying to go to school. Meanwhile, she's a submissive. So I'm just like, wow.
But that's like a cliche almost. Like they've always found that they show these CEOs, you know, like they're in control of things. They do all this stuff. And then they go home and they pay somebody thousands of dollars to like put them in a diaper and like spank them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's the CEO of Dell.
Yeah.
I've heard, that's kind of like a common, not to call her like a cliche, but like you see that a lot. Like somebody who's just like, well, I'm just in control all the time. And then I can come home and like get swaddled and like shit on. And it's great.
And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But this is a student. She's going to school. This is not somebody who has power, you know, and is getting her kicks off of being a sub, like taking that hat off.
To. Like she's preparing for it.
But see, this is what blew my mind about it. Because I talked to her and she was just like, actually, you know, my dom she tells me when to get up in the morning, what to eat, when to study, you know, when to turn in stuff, like what to wear and all of that. So she's like, it's so liberating because all I have to do is be the best student I possibly can. That's it. everything else is taken care of in my life. And I'm like, that is some crazy mental psychological shit.
Everything is taken care of in her life. Like the Dom like pays tuition and shit.
I don't know that I didn't ask her all about financials, but the Dom controls all of her activities. She controls everything that she does. Now
that's connected. Like, I don't know. I'm too hard-headed. I could never be. I don't see any, that is not attractive to me at all. I don't want nobody telling me shit.
Okay.
Ever.
And see, I had that same thought. But then when she broke it down, she was just like, so with the relationship between Doms and subs is like the Dom actually can't do anything the sub doesn't allow them to do. So the sub is actually in control because there's only like before they get into that relationship, there has to be an agreement. They have to communicate. So there's a lot of communication that goes in beforehand about likes, dislikes, limits, passwords, safe words, and all that other shit. So there's been a lot of communication. And I've got the sense that she organized this in such a way to where she could be, in fact, be the best student she could possibly be because she wouldn't have to worry about anything. The Dom does everything for her, plans her life for her. So that blew my fucking mind. I was just like, okay, I get it, but also, whoa.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm too hard-headed. Just like, excuse me? Like, I don't even want you to look at me for that long. Like, I hate the word submissive. Like, that are like 3-syllable words. Words like, I'm just very like, I could never do this. I just couldn't do it. There would have to be some kind of benefit, some sort of benefit. Like for me, everything is money. That's why I was like, okay, so does she truly not have to worry about anything? Because I feel like, yeah, I could fuck around like that if I knew that like everything is about money to me. Like, who got car note? Who got grocery bill? Who paying for this? Who's paying for my protective styles? Who is taking care of my scalp in between? If all of that isn't, maybe I'll listen to you for like 5 minutes a month. Like, I need to make sure that like everything is taken care of. I immediately went to, how are you just doing this? Somebody else is controlling. So you must have everything taken care of because that's what gives me anxiety. Like, who's paying for stuff? Who's paying for all these subscriptions that I have? Who's paying for like, who's taking care of the things that keep me afloat? And then maybe I'll, listen to your little funky ass commands, maybe. But if not, get out of my face. I'm not listening to anything you have to say.
It seemed to me that all the commands she had, like even when I was like up close on the rope tying demonstration, asking about the naval experience, like as I was approaching, I heard their dialogue, and the Dom was saying, "Is that too tight? No, mistress. Is that good? Yes, mistress." So she's actually checking with the sub as she's doing the stuff. So it was just, and it was very intimate. Like, that's the thing that surprised me, how intimate it was. Like, if you've ever like walked up on a couple and they're having a moment, the energy around them is different. And so that energy was definitely there. I was blown away. Like, it was the most fascinating, it's one of the most fascinating experiences I've ever had in delving into Blackness and all sorts of Blackness. It was a trip. I'd go again. Just to interview more people because it was fascinating. But like, yeah,
I just be like what my order is like. I don't know. They'd be like, Bitch, you need to leave. Like, we don't like your energy. Good. I don't like yours.
So after I did my various interviews, then a guy came and he had like one of those, those mechanic storage cabinets where it has like the drawers and everything.
Oh yeah.
I love those things.
Yeah.
He wheels that out and it's full of sex toys. So I'm just like, okay, what is this used for? We went through all the damn sex toys in the drawers. Like, whoa.
Oh my God. This dude got a caboodle of sex toys.
Yes, he's showing me how to use it. He's like showing me the paddles and the whips and the ball gags and handcuffs and dildos and inserts and bourgeois balls and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, wow, like Wow. This is deep. And again, no awareness of any of this stuff, like until like maybe the past 10 years ago. And like we've gone to the Hustler store before and I saw the toys in Hustler, but there were some things I'm just like, what? Why does this exist?
Wait, like what? Like what sex toys didn't you know existed? Because I probably don't know either. I'm trying to see something.
There was a thing that it had, and it looked like, for me, it was too much because it looked like it just harkened back to slavery. But it was a thing that you put on your ankles to keep your legs separated.
Nah, fuck that.
So you can't close your legs. And I'm just like, well, yeah. Yeah, it's super, like, he has.
Some of that is like, some of y'all's lives was, I don't know, too good. And you're like trying to like, you know, like, I want to pretend that I was abused. Yeah. It's like, that really gets me going. Like anything where I need something on me to keep my legs open because probably instinctively my body is trying to protect me from something. No, that's fine. I'm sorry I asked. That was a stupid question.
I think like, I mean, I could see like, say somebody is using a feather on you and they're tickling all up your thighs. You would naturally be inclined to close your thighs, even though a feather is not going to kill you. So I'm guessing that it is ultimately in the pursuit of pleasure, unless you are into pain. And then I don't know anything about that. I don't want to have anything to do with that. But
I think there are some people that are like club like pain. Hey.
Some people into pain, some people into pleasure, some people feel like they want to like pay some kind of way for the sins of their ancestors or whatever. I don't know. I mean,
wow.
But the thing is, like, bringing it back around to the reparations, you can just send Black people money. That's what you can do. But I guess they want some sort of physical aspect of it. I don't know. But you know, that makes me think about Donald Trump and what he was doing with that hoe that came out and told on him. Remember the hoe that he paid off while he was in?
Yeah, that chick.
Stormy Daniels.
Yes.
Well, she was a hoe. She was a hoe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No disrespect.
I don't think she minds that. I think she knows that.
I feel like I have respect for hoes because they get paid. So
they sure do. And many of them are not in debt.
Exactly. So like, hey, I have love for hoes. But I was just thinking like it probably scratched the surface of what Donald Trump does behind closed doors with the likes of Jeffrey Epstein and all that other stuff. And what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell, or however the fuck you pronounce
that bitch. I have listened to so many. I've had my fill of her and old Jeffrey. Like I've listened to certain podcasts. I can never complete the whole thing because it's so. First of all, it's terrifying. You know, listening as a parent, and then it's just gross. And it's just disgusting because you know that we only know a little piece of it. Yeah. And that there are so many people that we're all familiar with, maybe even be fond of, that are in this whole web. And that's how we know that man did not kill himself. There were some people who were like, oh no, you ain't taking me down. Hold up.
Oh, but like, no, even my mom was like, I know Donald Trump has something to do with Jeffrey Epstein being killed, and his wife too. His ex-wife, he had her killed. she completely.
Wait, his ex-wife was killed?
Ivanka Trump or Ivana Trump.
Oh, I thought you meant Jeffrey Epstein. I was like, I didn't know he ever had a wife. Okay.
No, not Jeffrey. He just had the girlfriend.
I thought she was sick. She wasn't sick.
She wasn't sick. That bitch didn't fall down them stairs by accident. She got pushed because.
Girl, I didn't even know she fell downstairs. When I see something with Trump, I don't read it.
Oh,
I was like, oh, that's so sad. And I kept moving on.
I understand you're protecting your peace of mind, but I'm pretty sure because she was one of the people that talked to him on January 6th. So he
what?
Yes. In fact, his officials, because I was either reading it or watching the hearings. I watched all the hearings, and he talked to a few people on January 6th. He talked to the same guy who, so way back when Michael Cohen, his attorney, got caught up, and he had to testify in front of for a congressional hearing. He was saying, hey, make no mistake, he's not going to peacefully turn over office. There's not going to be a peaceful transfer of power. I'm warning you. And then this one dude, this Republican, let me go back to my Twitter because I'd be forgetting names. But this Republican was like, well, he can't be trusted because he's a liar. He's, we're having this hearing for him because he lies. But Michael Cohen said there will not be a peaceful transfer of power. That same politician, I believe, talked to Trump on January 6th, the morning of January 6th. So let me see here. His name is Josh
Raleigh?
No, Jim Jordan. So, okay. Back in 2019, Trump fixer and personal attorney Michael Cohen said in his testimony before the House Oversight Committee, I fear that if Trump loses the election in 2020, there will never be a peaceful transition of power. In the same article, Rep. Jim Jordan from Ohio, and Trump is mentioned as having sworn up and down that Michael Cohen was not credible. He's going to prison on charges of lying to Congress. So F what he says. Then after January 6th, Jim Jordan, a close Trump ally, signals he won't cooperate with the January 6th investigation. He talked to Trump that day. And now Ginny Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife, she pressed 29 Arizona lawmakers to overturn the election results. She sent emails. Jim Jordan, he goes like, oh, why are you prosecuting her? Why are you persecuting her? Whatever. They all are a part of it. And that's what I'm waiting for to come out. Like, because it was a conspiratorial effort. He didn't do it by himself. He hadn't been planning it by himself. And they all know this. And I think a part of the reason why Republicans are still like going so hard for Trump, even though, he's broken the law. It's quite clear and obvious he's broken the law. But I think he has secrets on them related to Jeffrey Epstein, and he's using that. But I'm just like, if we would just be honest with each other about the type of sex that we have and who we have it to, then it wouldn't be, you couldn't use it.
Yes. Yeah. It would be like, so what? What? Yeah. It would be normalized.
Like no other country, like remember when Bill Clinton, when the Monica Lewinsky scandal broke and Bill Clinton was whatever, in trouble, whatever, lying and talking about what is. No other genius. Well, it depends on what your definition of is. Nigga, it's is.
Like, that's just a linking verb.
It's just like crazy to think everybody else is stupid. So anyway, none of the other foreign dignitaries was just like, look, he fucked a bitch. Like, we all fuck bitches. Like, what the fuck?
Like, France is always like, y'all are so cute.
Yeah.
Like, I go to president, and that's his little yeah on the side. Like, we all know. Like we don't care. But Americans pretend like, but we're Puritans. No, you are not.
No, you're not.
This fucking country.
Freakiest people. See, and that reminds me of the whole church girl debacle with Beyonce. How Fox goes on television like, this is a horrible song. This is a demon possessed. Even black pastors are talking about how could she be like calling out church people like that? She is heathen. She's been possessed by the devil. And then saying that because she appeared on the different color horses, she's representing the apocalypse, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
I am not ascribed to or heard of any of this bullshit, and I'm so glad. I would have gone crazy. I've been on edge for the last couple of weeks. I don't consume. I am in my own bubble of, these are the podcasts that I subscribe to. This is my Hulu and Netflix, and that, like, I am inside of an echo chamber that's inside of an echo chamber that is a figment of my echo chamber's imagination. That's where I am. I'm like, oh, Zoe's starting school. I will come out for a second and then I'm going back in. I can't. Are you fucking kidding me? Then those same black pastors are fucking some underage girl that is amen in that damn song. And while they're saying that, people are in your pew like, nigga, come on.
And then the last pastor I read about, and I didn't even commit his name to memory. I usually don't. But he was talking about, well, I didn't even listen to all the lyrics. And I'm like, then how are you passing judgment on the song?
That's what I do.
Like, do you know how many hoes is sitting up in your church right now, male and female, doing all this shit that Beyonce?
The pastor. The pastor knows because he's with him.
Exactly. So I'm just like, are you kidding me? But anyway, yeah, all of that has been happening. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the world into the lap.
I'm so aggravated.
Yeah.
That's why I just watch TV.
I'm surprised you haven't seen any of this on TV too. Like,
the only thing I reshared that thing about Beyonce church girls and how somebody said, Beyonce gonna have all these women that have been in church for 5 minutes talking about their church girls. And it said, until you have dressed like a church mother at a school dance, still, like it's this whole list of things, like a grown woman questioning putting on red lipstick until you've had gum taken away from you because you look bad. It's this whole list. And it's like, y'all are not church girls. Leave it to the real church. I reposted that, and that was it. That is the only indication that I had that there is a discussion out there about church girls. Because the song itself, some of Beyonce's songs, I hear them the first 6 times, and I'm like, I don't like this. And then something about the 7th time, maybe it's like Stockholm Syndrome. I'm just like, okay, I feel it. But I remember hearing that, and I got a little irritated, like I have with other artists that do what I call bounce light songs.
yeah.
It upsets my spirit because I'm like, this is like when Disney, this is like if you were to go to Disney and they had a New Orleans section and they had, no, Mickey's going to do bounce rap. And it's like, yeah, I hear the elements, but this ain't it. That's how I feel about Drake's Nice for What, even though it's catchy and I sing along, it's bounce light. Church Girl, I couldn't make it through, but it kind of made me think about, I would rather you just re-record Get Me Bodied. But so it irritated me kind of, and I wasn't feeling it when I first heard it. But in my defense, I was also like rushing out, and I was like, I have to come back to this. But there were too many skips. Like I was like, and that was maybe Break My Soul. I like because I just realized that the real reason why I like that is I just love hearing Big Freedia come on there. It's so familiar. It just feels like home. So Relief Shabbat. I'm just like, yes. I'm like, you know what? I like Big Freedia.
Yeah.
The other thing just reminds me of high school and junior high because, it just reminds me of house music and CeCe Peniston kind of energy. Yeah. And it's nostalgic. Church Girl, I'm listening to the lyrics and I connected to it, but I was just like, what are you doing? Can you just get an actual bounce person and then you just come on there and do your Beyonce thing? Like, let somebody really just bounce it and then you just do your, like, people go crazy for that.
Okay, I feel like Beyonce is really challenging. I think she's challenging Black people at this point. I really think so. I think she's challenging our belief systems. I think based on like the spiritual progression that she's experienced, because the whole Black is King, that was like a journey through the Orisha. I mean, that's what it was.
Love it.
I think she's now questioning all the things that we over here have come up with, because Christianity, like I've seen so many TikToks, it's like Black folks hate everything about slavery, but Christianity. So let's talk about it. So I think with that song, she's delving into that. Because a lot of us were born and raised in the church. Everything you went through.
That's why I'm saying I connect to her lyric. I have no beef with that. And she knows what she's talking about. Because I remember, and I'm sure you remember, when Destiny's Child was out, they used to say all the whole narrative around them was that they were Christian. And I'm like, but it was like that typical, that accepted Black way to be a Christian, where it's like, you just go to church. Like, because that's what we all do. Like we don't have a choice until we do. So I connect with the lyrics. I just couldn't get past that Disney bounce.
Okay.
It drives me crazy.
So one of the things that the pastor was commenting on, that's what he was really mad about. She used a Clark Sisters song. So
shit.
Yeah, so there's a Clark Sisters song sampled in that song. And so I listened to Renaissance because I got tired. I was hearing all the news. It was dropped, it leaked early, then the Khalees thing and all this other stuff. So I was driving around with the kids on Saturday. We went to a free skate party, including skate rental. It was a reproductive rights skate party.
Oh yeah, I think you told me about that.
Tangent. Not gonna go there. But anyway, I put it on in the car. When I tried to skip, my son Gabriel, the music aficionado, was like, "What are you doing?" I was listening to that. I'm like, "Well, excuse the fuck out of me."
You trying to break my soul?
We listened to the whole Renaissance album 3 times because he wanted all the way through from beginning to end. Some of those songs are not appropriate for a 5-year-old, but he was feeling it. I mean, but I will give Beyonce this. She really is challenging Black folks with this album, I really think, like with the content, and I'm there for it, just like I'm there for P Valley challenging our ideas about sexuality and those relationships. Yes. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I know you want to say something.
Girl. Oh my God, that show. I'm so jealous that I don't get to just like sit in the writer's room and be like, you want another donut? Another, you missed the period right there. Can I put the period in there? Is that a writing credit? Can I like it's so good. Like, first of all, and forgive me, Mr. Actor Man, because I can't remember your name, but Uncle Clifford needs all of the awards. He is so good. Him and Lil Murder. This man does the best face acting of anybody that I've ever seen. Like he is so sweet and so tender and so scary and just so like he's handsome. Like they are both like beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, like they're both just they are Black men, but it's something different. But it is not in a way of like, it isn't ridiculing.
Yeah.
It is like, this one is a flamer and this one is like Uncle Clifford is who she is. And it's just like, I don't know how you do that. Like you can't ridicule him. I mean, there are some people who try, but in my opinion, and from where I sit, they're in the minority because there's no apology. Like from episode 1, it's like, I'm Uncle Clifford and you refer to me as she. And it's like, okay. And that's not something that like I'm surrounded by every day. I mean, it's just not, but like, I never felt like, wait a minute, I need to contend with this. Now, part of that is because like, I'm not an idiot and I live in the world and I'm awake, but like a lot of it is that actor. He's so good. Like I listened to an interview with her and I'm so glad that she was able to jump through the network bullshit because of course he is the original Uncle Clifford from before. But many times when you have something that was in another form and now it's going to be a TV show, you can't always bring everybody. And it's not even because that creator, like I used to think like, ooh, that creator got brand new and did such because I didn't know any better. Like I didn't know that sometimes the network is like, no, we have this person whose show was canceled and we promised them something, so you have to take them. Like now I know that sometimes it is out of your control and you're looking at the bigger picture. You want your shit to get made. I am so glad that he was able to stand that character because he knows who that character is. Nobody else can play that. He is just so good. Like, I really do feel like I could watch P Valley if it was just Uncle Clifford reenacting all the episodes. Every time he says the grand reopen, it's like, I love him so much. He's hilarious. Loretta Devine, who has always been a gift. That woman, she's ridiculous, but it's so good. Like ridiculous in a good way. I love all the scenes with them. She's so out of her mind, but it's funny. And it's such a thin line. Like it could be a show that felt like it was making fun of Mississippi or making fun of a certain segment of people, but I never feel like it is.
No.
It reminds me of like when Claus first started, how it was like, this is a very specific slice of a certain area. And we are going into this whole like little universe that is like little known to a lot of people. It reminds me of how Claus first hit, where it's like, what is this world? Like, this is crazy. But you didn't get the sense that they were like making fun or calling these people ignorant. Even Mercedes, like when you see her being put in an environment that she's not used to, like Mercedes is no dummy, but she does not come off as like, yes, I got my full PhD from Harvard, but she's not a dummy. But like the way she sounds in her accent, because we've been conditioned to see, certain accents sound smart and certain accents sound dumb. But like even even when she first met, I forgot the man's wife's name, but the guy Coach, when she met his wife, who interestingly enough played Michael's drug addicted mom in the fourth, fifth season of The Wire. Remember Michael, the little brother? That's who she was. I was like, I know who this woman is.
Okay.
It was very impactful because all she did was like, where you going? But I remembered her. I was like, she came up. Okay, sis, I see you. But anyway. So when Mercedes sees her art and she's describing it, they really could have played that scene like a country bumpkin, like trying to act like she understands something, but it didn't come off like that. It's like Mercedes is not stupid. She's not stupid at all. She's very intelligent. She's gorgeous. And like, I can watch this and not like hate these bitches for how they look, or like watch it in the way that like we as women are conditioned to like hate other women or like see them as like some kind of enemy or something. It's like, I watch it and I respect them. And watching them do it, it's like, these are athletes. Like, I'm not at all thinking about like, I mean, yeah, you know, they look good, but I'm not like, this is porn. It's just like, oh my God.
They're athletes.
They're gymnasts. Like this is
all sex workers, but they are athletes. And it's a lot of
amazing.
I remember the first episode, what stood out, and I my friend from high school commented on it, little Bobby, he commented on it. He was like, I love how they silence the music and hear the exertion.
You hear the grunting.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sitting up here like, it's like, this shit is hard. Like my core is like, it is like watching the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like when you hear them, and like, that's not so sexy. I mean, not to me, but like that doesn't denote like, you know, oh yeah, she's fine. I'm like, she's strong.
Let me tell you, the Olympians be fucking usually at Olympic Village.
I mean, I would too. If like you got a bunch of people together whose bodies are in the best physical condition ever. Of course they are. I would think it was weird if they were all just sitting around.
No, they be fucking like it's going out of style. A lot of STDs get passed around. I would hear about that.
I heard about that. I heard that Olympic Village is like one of the nastiest places that you could possibly be.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why they ain't never had the Olympics down here then? It's perfect.
I know. Like,
like the Olympics. Come on, y'all.
Been in Atlanta, but I don't know if we get access to the village or not. But anyway, tangent. We would need to like sign up for Activity Hero to access the Olympic Village activities. But yeah, like the athleticism that's involved in everything, and how my only complaint about the first season of P-Valley was just like some of these strippers use drugs because they know that they're being objectified, you know, and so I was just like, are they going to address that? So they have addressed that in the second season to a degree with Roulette and the scary one. What's her name?
I don't know, but the wind says she ain't got no name. Like the wind saying, you the twins. Like, bitch, if you don't get out of my face,
it's just scary.
You died 40 years ago, and I'm gonna need you to stop talking to me now. But I see that as more of the arc, like the trajectory, right? Like they didn't address it in the first season, but then also, I guess I look at it as in P-Valley world, what, less than a year has passed? So it's kind of like we have to take a break from them, and then we have this time. But like, if you look at the whole thing, I just feel like it's kind of like a regular story, like where things unfold. Like this has been going on, but they weren't focusing on the ones, you know, that were doing that. Like they kind of have to set the principal people. I mean, I guess it could have like some people in the background, like twerking and doing lines or something. I have no idea. But like, I just kind of see it as like, as we delve further in, then we start to like, it always zooms out to like, okay. And then here's more, because otherwise, like you don't want to like blow your whole load on the first season.
No, you don't. You don't want to just blow your load. Anyway. But I was just like, there's no evidence of it at all, because it just didn't seem like there was a presence of it. Like a lot of strippers, they'll take a couple of shots before they go up on the pole, or in the bathroom, the person, because the women's bathroom is also their studio or their green room. And when I went to Alania's workplace, because she invited me down, did I tell you about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then so she invited me down there, like, you know, they were selling drugs in the bathroom. And then there was a drug dealer in the corner of the club. So I doubt that Uncle Clifford would run an establishment that would allow that. And then we saw from the, you know, from this last.
Yeah, I don't think he would, because he really does not want that.
No, he doesn't want that. But the thing is, that doesn't stop strippers from being users and getting their own supply. And a lot of them are users.
That's ass.
Yeah, just to get through the night. You're getting up there and you're being objectified. And these men are horrible. Like I told you how I watched this one lady, beautiful body, just gorgeous girl, had on some of the best stripper shoes I've ever seen. I told her, I was like, those shoes are hot, right? She gets in front of me. I'm like, I'm not paying you. So she moves on to the next. As I'm sitting at the stage.
What's the matter with you? Why do you go out of your way to give the most effusive comments? And you're like, oh no, bitch, get on my face.
I was here for my friend. I wasn't here to like.
You're like, these men are horrible. Bitch, those are good shoes. And so she goes, oh no, bitch, get the fuck out of my face. You don't make eye contact and give compliments because they're like, okay, bitch, no, what you think this is? My job. You had my job.
This is a Monday afternoon. This is an early Monday.
Oh my God, you're so
I should have been in the first place. But she invited me down, and I was just like, okay, you wanted me to see where you work, and I got talk about like an academic exercise. The whole thing. I've told you about that before, so we don't have to go off on that tangent. But
wait a minute, wait. What? Wait, you talking about what before?
When I went to the strip club to see my friend on a Monday afternoon, because we went and had crawfish po' boys afterwards.
Yes, but wait a minute. But it sounded like you said something else, and then you were like, "I told you about that before." Like, did you say something different?
Did I explain to you how the girl, I complimented her shoes, and then she moved over to a male patron and just took off her underwear and opened her legs, and he just started spraying. He just took out his wad and just started distributing.
Stupid, just because he got to look at it?
Well, you didn't see the man. That was the only way he was going to get his eyes on any pussy that day.
Got it. Okay.
She had a nice vagina. It was a good looking vagina. So that was the best vagina he was going to see. He had to pay a fee for that because the way he looked, yeah.
That's it.
Very transactional experience. Very transactional.
I think I can do it. I don't really want to strip or move, but just show people. I'll be the girl that just does that. It just comes out.
Yeah, there was no athleticism like on P-Valley. P-Valley, those bitches are getting down. They are doing some amazing.
They are working. I'm just like, I can't even be mad at you.
The recent thing that TikTok told me, pole dancing is a West African tradition. So like, they're actually...
What?
Yes. Pole. So they actually bring out these poles and like a person in the tribe or whatever will hold it and some person will be spinning around on the damn pole. They do that.
Like from a long time ago?
Yes. It's not sexual.
It's responsible for everything. West African.
Learned about it on TikTok. When I find the video, I'm sure I saved it because I was like, what? Like, really? And that's why, and in West Africa, men and women do this. Actually, it's mostly men because it's athleticism. They're just swinging around on the damn pole.
You watched the last episode, right?
I did watch the last episode. I was happy to see Megan. I love her. I was listening to her new album. I love
Meg Thee Stallion. I just like her. I just want to hang out with her because everywhere you see her, she's the same. She just be like, she just has the attitude of like, yeah, I was in school and like, girl, now I'm famous. That's crazy. Huh? You want to get some from you? Like, she just seems so like, Well, okay. Like even when Lamorta decided not to go on tour with her, I feel like even though she was playing Tina Snow, but from Houston, which I was like, is this Tina? Is this like an homage to Beyonce mama? I don't know. That was just random to me. And so I just feel like when Lamorta told her that he wasn't going to go on tour, like, I said, she just seems like she didn't even trip. She was just like, okay, I'll go get somebody else. Like, she just seems unbothered, but also genuinely just like a regular girl who's thing happened to her and she just like, okay. I just like her. I don't know what it is about her. I really, really like her. But
I like her too. I feel like if she were a man, she would already have been designated as the GOAT, as the rapping GOAT. I really do. Her flows are sick. She doesn't rap like the conventional woman. Her metaphors are. She says what she says how she feels.
It's very straightforward, and it's always da 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 da.
She's done her research. She pays homage to rapping greats in the past with the beats and everything. Like, she has done her homework. Like, if she had a penis, they would already say she was the GOAT.
A long time ago.
Exactly.
Like, bringing together a sentence. But she's just winning. Like, I just really like her. When I see her in things, like we were watching it, and Lance was like, "Oh, that's Meg Thee Stallion." And I was like, "Yeah, you didn't catch it on a few episodes back where they showed the girl saying, 'Oh, that track is hot,' and they didn't show who it was. I already knew that was her." Yeah. What happened to then? Because I had seen something earlier that day. Like, I tried. Like, people watch P Valley at midnight 01, and then you're like, "Oh my God, that was so good. Let us tell you what happened." Like, bitch, they just dropped it. Can you just please just have a running email to yourself? If you just got to text this out, can you stop? Amazon, like, they just about to press the button and you like, "Oh my God, there's a thing. I'm not to get on social media." Like, shut the fuck up. So I don't look at anything on Sundays because we can't watch it until later. Otherwise, Zoe will be like, and like we have to wait until, like, okay, Zoe's asleep. She's all the way asleep, and then we can watch it. So I had already seen somebody say, like, I just kept seeing Meg and then P Val, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And so when I think, like, the episode ended and they showed her from, like, waist down, just like, oh, now that's hot. And then she, like, walked out, but they didn't show who it was. And Lance was like, who is that? And I thought that he would get it. And so when she popped up on the last one, he was like, oh, I said, yeah, I thought that you would, get. But anyway, I liked how it tied up. I'm going to tell you who's pissing me off. That fake ass Barack Obama is on my goddamn nerves. I fucking hate him. I kind of, like, felt for him before, but I really hate how he's just allowing, like, yes, his wife was wrong for, like, whatever she was doing, whatever. But I hate how he's making her feel like his affair with Haley is in response to what he caught her doing. Like, nigga, you was already sleeping with that woman.
You already went to the club looking for someone to do that with.
I hate him. And all because of his own insecurities, because she obviously has history with this dude, but she married your big head ass. And then you disengaged from her. Like, you could just see the whole thing. No one is perfect. And in a marriage, it takes two. But I fucking hate him. And also, I hated her because the whole time I'm standing up there thinking, because, I mean, you know me. I believe in scorched earth. That is how to handle everything. Like, scorched earth. I don't care. We don't need to work shit out. Whatever. I'm already depressed. Okay? It doesn't matter. You would never catch my ass standing on a porch while you are having a long, in-depth conversation with this bitch while she hands over some fucking little strawberries that she probably just went to Shari's Berries and then put them in the damn pan. And she's just standing up there. What the fuck is this bitch? Why fucking so hard for this man? I mean, he had no kind of shame at all. And then had the audacity to, right before they went out, for him to go give his concession speech, trying to play it off like he knew he lost, stupid ass nigga, had the audacity to say, well, we got to go out there. You should know about wearing masks. I'm like, and now this nigga gonna clown her because she wanted him to be safe, she wanted him to be safe during the panorama. And he was mad because she was like, make sure you wear your mask. And so he's going to throw that in her face and connect that to our sham of a marriage as if he had no part in it. And I'm like, okay, please tell me that in season 3, there's going to be some kind of comeuppance. I want her to see that she was not the first. I was losing my mind. Lance was like, calm down. And you can't stroke out because we got to see the end of this episode. I was like, I'm holding on. But she's just standing up there while these bitches are lined up. I mean, I care less about them. But that woman, after you have been sitting there and saw them walk in, and you're just standing there all meek on the porch, what the fuck is wrong with her?
Okay. I'm hearing everything you say, and I feel for you. My concern is why you've not told me anything about these Shari's berries before. Because I was like, Shari's berries, what are those?
Have you not heard about fucking Shari's berries?
I just Googled them just now.
You listen to podcasts. They sponsor everybody's podcast. Are you kidding me? Girl, Shari's berries. I get that for my birthday almost every year. I posted them before. Girl, tell that man in there to get you some Shari's berries. And then also tell him to send some to 3000. I know he got it.
Thank you for listening to Tangentially Speaking. This podcast is recorded and produced by Nita Sharice and Nikki Ebo. Our theme music is Lush Living by Martin Landstrom. Our artwork was created by Prime Vice Studios. You can learn more about this intellectual property development agency at primevice.com. Find us on your favorite podcast player and YouTube. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter.